everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today's video is going to be 24 things I know at age 24. Basically, I wanted to make this video because I feel like it's super important to have values, obviously, and just like guiding principles of how you live your everyday life. I want to give a big disclaimer. These are 24 guiding principles that help me live my life. These may not be applicable to you. They might not even make sense for you, but I just wanted to share how I live my life so that people can maybe take something away from this video and give them a new perspective. The first guiding principle that I choose to live my life by is everything happens for a reason. So I feel like I've used this so much in my life, especially when I'm facing rejection. If something super sad or something that I can't rationalize has happened in my life, like a death, I always think to myself, everything happens for a reason, or if something unfair happens, everything happens for a reason. And I can't speak for people who obviously have gone through really traumatic things and thinking, oh, that happened for a reason. But for my life journey, that is something that makes sense to me. My second guiding principle is honesty is always the best policy, because the second somebody lies to me, that just makes me lose all respect for them. So definitely, like, just always tell the truth. And I don't know if it's like the Sagittarius in me, but I physically, like, I can't lie. Like, I am the worst liars. Like, you know, you grow up with your friends who are like, don't tell my mom that I'm doing this, or if my mom calls, just say I'm doing that. I'd be like, yo, like, if the mom calls, like, I just have to spill your beans. Like, I just might have to, I'm sorry. Like, I physically feel like ill. I'll make me sick. And my third guiding principle is always remember where you came from. And this really just stems from the fact that I never want to forget where I came from and who I came from. So my parents, they're immigrants to the country. I grew up in a family of 5. I have 2 other brothers, my mom and my dad. And my parents worked so hard for everything that they have today. And I never want to lose sight of that, and just always be humble and grateful for what I have, and just honestly just knowing that like hard work does pay off. And this one kind of leads me to my fourth one, which is never lose a sense of your identity. So obviously, like, having a good sense of where you come from and knowing to be humble and always remembering those difficult times that you had ties into never losing your identity. Because as somebody who grew up in an Eritrean household, my parents, like specifically my dad, would always drive it into our heads, like, you are an Eritrean first and then a Canadian, like, you are Eritrean Canadian. And he always reminded us of our culture, and as much as they could, made sure that we felt connected to our culture, which is such a big thing for me, because like, there's really people out here losing themselves over not having a strong sense of identity. And that doesn't mean that you have to connect to a specific culture, but it means that you have to have something that grounds you, whether it's just values that your parents instilled into you, whatever it may be. But that's a really big one for me, and just knowing who I am and like what I stand for, what I will tolerate, what I will not tolerate, that all comes from my sense of self-identity. So my fifth one is nothing lasts forever. My biggest fear in life is death, and really just telling myself and reminding myself that nothing lasts forever forces me to enjoy all of the little moments or short moments that I have with people, and really just take in as much as I can from that experience. Because at the end of the day, life is not promised, and like, you could be gone tomorrow, and you could be living today, you could be really angry today and not even know that today's your last day. My sixth point is closure is not the only way to move forward from a situation. As somebody who has obviously like gone through different relationships, whether they're romantic relationships or just friendships, I think something big that I learned is that closure is definitely not the only way to move forward in life. I think that I would use closure as a way to almost reopen that relationship, because I wanted to see if there was anything to salvage. But as I got older and like more mature, I realized that like talking to that person to work things out is not the only way, especially if they're unwilling, or if it's not for the right reasons. I really had to teach myself to start to look inward and start to reflect on, okay, what could I have done better? What did I not like in that relationship? What do I want to do different for next time? And that in itself gave me closure, which was really enlightening and super powerful. My next one is trust the process. This one is just like, yeah, trust the process is just so prevalent in my life because there have been so many times where, you just can't see like the light at the end of the tunnel and you're like, oh my God, like when am I just gonna get to my goal? When am I gonna make it? When is it gonna be accomplished? But the thing is, like, you learn so much in the process of things, and learning that everything you're going through right now, all of this hardship, it has a greater purpose. And that's something that I always tell myself because it really just propels me to get through some really difficult times. Another example of this is when I decided to move to Ontario. Basically, I think it was like a 7-month process or something. I had to sign up, get my license in Ontario for my job, and then I had to apply to all these different jobs, and it just felt like I was filling out like 60 job applications, and then I would hear like nothing back, or like back from like one person. So I remember that was pretty difficult. I remember I went through, I think, a total of 4 or 5 interviews before I actually got the job that I wanted. And I just remember like continuously going through the process of getting ready for the interview, doing the interview, thinking that I did so well, only to not hear back. And I'm just like, am I really gonna be stuck in Saskatoon for like this much longer? Like, should I just give up? Am I just like not meant to be in Toronto? Is that why? Is that why this is happening? But I just pushed myself, and every single day I would go to a coffee shop, I would look at all the job postings, and then eventually I got the job. My next guiding principle is the little things are the big things. I always say to myself, like, the little steps that you're taking are going to amount to something so great and so big, because it's all of those little steps, like the building blocks of things, right? When you have like a staircase, for example, one stair itself is insignificant, but when you keep going up those little steps, you go up 20 steps, you're at the top, right? And my next point is nothing worth having comes easy. So I always tell myself this, and which ties back to the whole trust the process, because I truly believe that if I want to be great and if I want to succeed at something, that it's not gonna come easy. I have to be willing to put in that work, and I have to be willing to sacrifice time and maybe some energy. Obviously, like within respect to balance, because I don't believe in like killing yourself trying to get to a goal. Like, that's not really what I stand for. I think that everything has to come in balance, but it does come with sacrifice, right? So, and maybe that means that after you're done your 9 to 5, that you are dedicating maybe your 6 to 9 p.m. for whatever it is that your goal is. Like, things come with sacrifice, right? Every goal that you want has to come with sacrifice. You don't get something for nothing. Next one is honestly like one of my favorite things, but it ties into confidence, and I always say to myself, nobody is you, and that is your power. So this is something I always say to myself, especially when I'm feeling a bit insecure. For example, when I wanted to start my YouTube channel, I was like, there's already how many people on YouTube talking about wellness or talking about the content that I like to deliver, so why would I even try? And then as I was looking on YouTube, I'm like, but nobody is you, Leah. Like, you are the only Leah, okay? Like, nobody is you. Nobody has the same personality as you. You are you. You are an individual. You are so unique, and that is your power. And even if somebody is delivering a video on the same topic as you, they don't have that same special piece that you do, right? And as I don't have what they have, and that's why they're unique. So I always make myself aware of that, especially when I go into environments where I feel small. I tell myself no one is you, and that is your power. And my next one is to just always keep an open mind, because you never know what somebody is going through. And as someone who works in the mental health field, and just honestly just being a human, like, you can never assume what somebody else is going through. So when somebody treats you poorly, or if somebody does something that's so horrible, you never know what somebody is going through. And I use this to not place so much judgment on people, and to make me a more empathetic person, because at the end of the day, people are doing things, and when people do things that are horrible, they're doing it because they're hurting inside. And that's something that I really like to remind myself of, that it has nothing to do with me. and it's them who has something going on with them, and it's maybe stuff that I can't see, and I need to be more empathetic of that because I would want somebody to show me that same courtesy. So I think I'm gonna stop the video there, you guys. I'm gonna do a part 2. Please comment down below if you resonated with any of these. I wanna know what you guys consider some of your guiding principles. I think it's so cool to share and hear about what are people's like mantras or how they live their life or how do they go day by day. Like I said, part 2 will be coming out next. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe. This is Eleahvate where everybody is welcome. So I hope you tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mama, tell your papa. You name it! Okay guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Mwah.